me to get things back on track until now. I feel like Vegeta going into the hyperbolic time chamber in Dragon Ball Z. Prison could be my place to train and get stronger in a different dimension from the real world. Maybe this is my chance to pay my dues for all the crimes that I have actually committed, crimes the justice system knows nothing about, to reconnect with my true self, to really turn things around.
Chapter 1. Is this it? My brother and I were in the front yard playing cricket with our cousin when we heard a knock at the big solid gate. We stopped and looked at each other. Was it Dad? We hadn't heard his car pull up outside, but should we quickly pack away the wickets, a chair, and dust off our feet, just in case? This time in the afternoons after school was a luxury for us. Our front yard was just hard, dusty soil, not a blade of grass in sight, and was surrounded by tall white concrete walls designed to keep uninvited guests out. The only way in was through either the gate to the yard or the other gate a bit further along the road, which led into the Mehman Khana guest house that served as my parents' office. Our two-storied compound was, to my small eyes, the castle of our neighborhood, and our yard was the best spot for playing cricket undisturbed, until Dad got home from work, that is. Usually, my brother and I would have a bunch of the neighborhood kids running around the dusty yard with us, but we didn't want Dad to know that. He preferred us to spend our waking hours studying. So, whenever we heard his car pull up outside, we'd quickly pack up and scatter, dusting off our feet to hide all evidence of what had been going on. While Torik, who was the oldest, would go to open the front gate for Dad, I'd be ushering the rest of the kids through the other gate just down the road. You had to get the timing just right. The kids had to run out at the precise moment Dad drove in, so he wouldn't see them. Then, once every last kid had scurried out onto the road outside, I'd close the gate and run to Dad and hug him, like a good little kid who was just happy his father was home. But while my arms were round his waist, I'd catch Torik's eyes and we'd both know we'd had a close call. Today, though, there was just the three of us playing cricket. It was probably all right, even if it was Dad. So, Torik opened the gate, but instead of our father, we saw a person who said they had some important mail for us. Torik took them inside, then re-emerged moments later, shouting at the top of his lungs. "We've got our visas," he was yelling. "We've got our visas. We're going to New Zealand." To New Zealand? Where was that? Didn't matter, not to me and not to Torik. It's probably somewhere out in America or Europe. I mean, Zealand? Sounded a bit European, right? Maybe it was like London. All those Hollywood and Bollywood movies we watched showed London as the place to be. Yeah, New Zealand was probably like that, with high-rise apartments and beautiful, expensive shops to look through. It was probably glamorous and bustling with people. And according to Torik, in Kharij, abroad, there were endless taps of Coca-Cola and Fanta. My older brother was possibly the happiest of anyone to be going. He could barely contain his excitement. Mum and Dad had been looking for a way for us to leave Pakistan for some time. They didn't see a future for us here, or back in Afghanistan. Successive wars in the region had taken their toll, and as well as having its own domestic problems, Pakistan was heaving with Afghan refugees like us. The government, which had earlier welcomed us, now wanted us gone, but going back to Afghanistan wasn't an option either. My parents' generation, and now that of their children, had seen multiple invasions. First there were the Soviets, then the proxy wars between the Soviets and the United States, and then the Taliban. So my parents did what parents do. They went in search of greener grass for their children. They hoped moving to a Western country might provide us with better opportunities and education. And when they'd learn about this country not far from Australia, where the grass really was green, that's where they'd set their sights. We were fortunate. One of my uncles had gone to New Zealand as a refugee a couple of years earlier, in late 1999. He'd sought asylum and was granted residency, and then he applied for us to come to New Zealand too, as a family resettlement. We took that opportunity and in 2001 moved to New Zealand as migrants. We would no longer be refugees in Pakistan. It was Dad who took us to the airport on the day we left. He wasn't coming. Not yet. It was just me and Mum and my 4 siblings heading to the other side of the world. No one bothered to explain to me why my father was staying behind. I was only 6, so maybe they thought I wouldn't understand. But my dad was my hero. And when we had to say goodbye, I couldn't stop crying. Everyone